Over the past 30 years, the Central Coast has become the home of award-winning, internationally renowned wine.
Yeah, well, now this area also experiencing the same phenomenon when it comes to craft beer. KCOI 12's Dave Alley is live in Buellton to explain what's happening and what the impact means for both local counties. Dave, good evening.
Scott and Melissa drinking an ice-cold beer, just like this one at Figueroa Mountain Brewery, has long been one of America's favorite pastimes. National surveys show that beer is the alcoholic drink of choice in this country. However, the most popular style of beer is changing quickly. That includes right here on the Central Coast, where local beer makers are definitely tapping into the change. There's something brewing on the Central Coast, a craft beer revolution.
We're making beer as fast as we can and selling out of it as quickly as you can, get it into the kegs and into your bottles.
With nearly 24 breweries in the area, local beer is booming.
The fervor behind craft beer consumption has taken a lot of people by surprise, and all the breweries are trying to adjust to it and trying to harness that demand.
Figueroa Mountain is bottling up and meeting that demand. Since its creation in 2010, the Buellton-based company has become one of California's most successful breweries, growing nearly 900% over the past 3 years.
Looking back at the old business plans, I had envisioned growth. I didn't think we would be here this fast, but I don't think we thought the industry would be here this fast.
In an industry long ruled by macro brews such as Budweiser, Coors, and Miller, now it's all about microbrews.
The younger demographic of beer drinkers now have developed a palate for what good beer tastes like.
With demand soaring, Santa Maria Brewing Company is betting big on craft beer, pouring $2 million into a brand new production facility.
It's taken a long time, 2 years in the making. We've been sitting in here building this brewery, but we're finally ready to turn the switch on and see what we can do.
When operating at full capacity, Santa Maria Brewing will dramatically increase its production, up from a current 1,500 barrels per year to 60,000.
We have big plans to get our beer in other locations outside of Santa Maria. Liquor stores for sure, grocery stores. We have an amusement park on the East Coast that's already committed to our beer. You'll see it everywhere, hopefully.
As the industry expands, many are seeing dollar signs and are hopping into the business.
There's an array of people getting into it. Some people are getting into it just for the business standpoint, but there's a lot of home brewer converts.
Which is where it all began for Man Rock Brewing Company.
For us, it was, home brewing and dabbling in the garage to talking about it for a few years and then just making the leap of faith.
Now 3 years old, the Grover Beach business produces about 2,500 barrels a year. It serves at its popular tap room and restaurant.
For us, it's a passion. We just really enjoy it. So we're growing slowly.
Now that beer has become such a popular draw, local breweries are enjoying a new beer tourism industry that's following in the footsteps of wine.
There'll be a reason to come to the Central Coast and try 15, 20 different breweries up and down the coast. It's going to help spur that growth on.
And with it comes a significant contribution to the local economy.
From your tap rooms to your service staff, to the brewers, to the cellar staff. I mean, there's so many areas within a brewery that creates growth.
Even with the massive growth over the last few years, those in the industry say there's still room for even more as demand continues to increase.
There's plenty of room for as many craft brewers as it can open. As long as people are out experiencing and looking for the beers that they enjoy, craft beer here on the Central Coast will continue to grow.
That growth, though, could be coming to a head. Massive beverage conglomerates are fighting back, purchasing microbreweries and creating problems for craft brewers.
Our raw goods, our inputs, our supplies, cans, bottles, hops will become scarce if we aren't planning out far enough. So I think that is a big pressure on the small guys if we aren't careful enough.
But right now, with several more breweries scheduled to open in the area over the next 2 years, there appears to be no end in sight to the craft beer revolution.
But I think it's more than a trend. It's here to stay. It's not something that's going to, be a quick bubble and then burst.
I don't see it letting up for quite some time. I think there's just so many great ideas and so many new and upcoming brewers.
And beer lovers will drink to that. Now, there are over 430 craft brewers in California, including Figueroa Mountain right here. Now, this company, as we saw, has experienced phenomenal growth, opening up tap rooms and restaurants all over the area. Just last week, Firestone Walker in Paso Robles, which is the 16th largest craft brewery in the nation, announced it will spend $15 million to expand its facilities over the next 2 years. So these are absolutely heady times for craft beer makers, and those in the business are definitely, absolutely, indeed, saying cheers. Reporting live in Buellton. Buellton, Dave Alley, KCOY 12, Central Coast News.
Dave, thank you. Glad to see such success for those beer makers.